And we're back. How about that? You'd love to see it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you again for being here. I know it's Sunday. Typically, on Fridays. Big schedule issue on Friday. Glad you could all come back, check us out today. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program on this upcoming Friday. We'll be back to normal after that. But for now, it's a Sunday special. So hope y'all enjoy. Man, I'm Christian. There's Omar. There's Dayla. So y'all. And before we get everything rolling and all that, we just wanted to have a quick, big thank you to our sponsors who make this possible. People that keep the lights on. Appreciate y'all.
Yes. So one of tonight's sponsors for the show is Marianne Slade, who is the CEO and founder of Nasrima Corporation. And Nasrima Corporation is a not-for-profit entity whose focus is bettering the lives of underprivileged peoples, especially those young women and children in inner cities. You can follow along with what they're doing on Facebook by following the CEO, Miss Marianne Slade, or by following them on Instagram at Nasrima Corporation. And Nasrima is American spelled backwards. So that's how you spell that. And it's at the bottom of the screen.
Thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
What else you got for us, Omar?
Yeah. Also, thank you to our sponsor, Bishop Levi Robinson of Holy House of God Ministries of Macomb, Mississippi. He is a former pastor of mine, great mentor, great friend. Me and my family, we're really happy to have him in our lives. So thank you, Bishop. I appreciate you.
And thank you for your support, Bishop. I appreciate it as well. All of us here, making it possible for us. I really appreciate that. Thank you. One second here, y'all. Okay, we're back. Cool. Great. So I'm sure a few of you have seen on our personal social medias, also on our page, we shared that we were featured in a Newsweek article earlier this week as a young, prominent Black conservatives that support the president. And it was a really cool opportunity. I must say for myself, at least, this is the first time I had an article written where I didn't feel slighted or I didn't feel like it was just a big waste of time. I really enjoyed it. I thought it came out really, really well for me. What do y'all think?
I would agree. When I read it, I was super excited because I was like, okay, I know me and the journalist, we had a long conversation. I don't know about you guys, where we kind of talked for a little bit about personal stuff and just like, politics in general. So it was I felt like he could have pulled from a lot of different areas. And the information that he did present, I felt like was very unbiased. And honestly, it was just presented really in a light, not where the comments, I guess, or, where I guess their audience is more on the left. So you would maybe think that they would slide it in a different way or kind of angle it. But I personally didn't see it. It's in my personal interview.
I enjoyed my interview. In Minds, I talked about he really highlighted when I talked about cancel culture and how it was canceled back at home because of my team's quarterback, Drew Brees. But I didn't feel slighted by it. He shouted out my professor, who has been a great mentor to me for a long time. So I thought it was a great experience. I thought it was a great article, and I was just happy to be part of it.
Yeah, and I also want to note for him to have actually 4 different Turning Point field representatives in the article. I felt like he actually took from us a what we love about the organization. It wasn't like, kind of repetitive. Okay, this is another Turning Point rap. It kind of was, okay, this person highlights free speech. They love free speech. So this is why they were Turning Point. This person loves the debate, socialism versus capitalism. This is why they were Turning Point. And it highlighted the story and made it just even better, in my opinion. It was great. I liked it.
Right.
I think it did me a lot of justice. The biggest kicker for me, the thing that freaked me out the most, is I didn't know. Paul Bond, great job on the article. If Paul ever reads this one or checks this out one time, thank you, Paul, for this. It's fantastic. But he actually reached out for comment from Grand Canyon University, my alma mater, where I went to college, due to all the issues that I had with the administration, the dean, and everything while I was in college working as a campus activist. And he asked them for comment, and they actually responded. And they acknowledged that they put overly restrictive policies on my Turning Point chapter when I was in college as a chapter leader. They actually admitted it. After all this time, they actually came back and admitted it, and they said those two people that were causing us problems and grief are no longer with the university. They no longer work there. So I think they got rid of them.
Oh, wow.
For the best. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. It's been 2 years now, but they commented right back. So they put overly restrictive conditions on there. Shouldn't have done it. It takes a big person to admit that. And I would not have expected Grand Canyon University of all people to have done that.
That's awesome.
That was really great. That made me feel good. Not gonna lie, it made me feel good. Like, kind of made me feel like, wow, we're getting somewhere. So, it feel really good. That was awesome. Really cool. Get to shout out the hometown and everything. And even I got to talk about, like, even putting there my wrestling background here. Like, I didn't even think I get to talk about that at all. I've been doing that since I was born. To this day, to this day, I have some sort of involvement in wrestling. I'm doing that to this day. And I got to talk about that, how it shaped and influenced my worldview and how my political landscape and how things get formulated in my head from all that. Like, it was just crazy. I didn't expect that to be in there. So I thought it was a well done article. Yeah. Got to touch all those things that I really cared about. It was awesome. And I thought it was boring, man. I thought I was boring. So he made it not that boring. So great job.
And I want to piggyback off that. I guess we're talking about this a little longer, but about the personal conversation that we kind of had with him, he sat there and he really listened to us and formulated his perspective on what we had that conversation about. And I feel like he did a great job of doing that. And so really big props to him. He was a great, just a great person in general. Mr.
Great
Boyd. Yes, for sure.
Great interview. Sure. Any last thoughts on that, Omar?
No, I'm just in reading everybody's features. I'm really grateful to be in that company with everyone, which includes you two. Mm-hmm. It just the connections you two have. I'm so new to the conservative movement that I'm just in awe that I get to be in company with people like this, especially like people like CJ Pearson, who, yes, is younger than all of us by about 4 or 5 years, but has been working so long. He's built so much of a repertoire within this movement that it's just incredible. Yeah.
It was a big honor, man, to be able to represent and to also be more than, because a lot of what we do is as part of a larger group, as part of a movement, organization, but we are individuals, and we kind of got to show off the individualism. Mm-hmm. I really like that, man. Got to show off like who we are, where we're from. And we're all from different places, got different things going on. I thought that was real cool, so I really like that. Really like that a lot. Boom. Now's the time. If you guys have any questions or anything burning on your mind, your thoughts in your head, feel free. Drop a comment, drop something, a question in there for that. We'll be happy to answer. It's also a part where I could play like my little commercial. I'm gonna have one fully rehearsed at one point. We're gonna have a full commercial like this.
Well, I was gonna say, I guess our free talk would be kind of about the title of this episode I see here. Yeah. About Ice Cube being called a sellout earlier this week. Yeah. Hilarious to me. How did you guys feel about that when you guys first seen the news?
Can you give the background on that for people that may not know?
Okay, yeah. So I don't have the tweet here pulled up, but I know Katrina Pearson, who works with the Trump campaign and who's been working with the administration and the campaign since the beginning, tweeted out earlier this week that actually Ice Cube had helped, I guess, work on. I don't know if it was the platinum plan per se, the one that he released, or if there's a new kind of plan that they're working on behind the scenes. But she came out with the information that they are working with each other or have worked with each other, and is like trying to, push or this plan for Black America solely. So that's kind of what the news is, or the hot topic is, because once that came out, obviously, a lot of people in the Black community and the culture, started calling Ice Cube a sellout, clearly upon the fact that he decided to work with the Trump administration based off what Katrina had said, right? That he worked with the Trump administration to create a plan. He neglected the Biden and Harris, and he was like all down with the Trump administration. That was like the first, I guess, perspective of what was going on. And boy, did Black Twitter, I guess, get on Ice Cube about him being a sellout and all different types of things.
Right.
So that's just a little bit background for everyone watching. But for you guys kind of already knew about that. What were you guys, opinions?
I mean, it's crazy the context of people that really we want change. We'll march for change. We want social change. We want change here. We want money. We want capital. How come we can't get up? How come we can't get up? The reason you can't get up is because anytime somebody tries to get up, you shoot them down. I'm sorry. Every time you shoot them down, anytime anybody tries to do better, it's called anti-Blackness. You're selling out. You're doing this or that. Anytime anybody tries to get up or get something advanced for anything, they get shot down. And it is toxic. It's cancerous, and it's got to go. It has got to go. That is absolutely, it's just total nonsense. I can't handle it. Ice Cube said, here are the facts. He said he put out the contract with Black America. Both parties contacted him. He said the Dems said, we'll address the contract with Black America after the election. The Trump campaign made some adjustments to their plan after talking to them about the contract with Black America. So one side sat down with them and heard him out. One side didn't. One side said, we'll get to you after this election. Mm-hmm. Every 4 years, one time, we'll hit you up after the election. Maybe then they'll hit you up after the election, because that vote's a lock. Apparently, it doesn't matter. They don't need to hear all the plan for Black America if they already got 90% of the vote, right? What's the matter? And the fact that people can't see right away that vote is taken so much for granted that they expect to have that locked in right away, just like that. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to sit down and meet with us, right? Because we're bought. We got it. Mm-hmm. And the people, for the fact that he even sat down and met with the opposition, said, we want to get some stuff done. And nope, selling out. You're selling out. Craziness. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? No, I was just thinking that, I believe Ice Cube has a single out there talking about arrest Trump or something of the nature. Mm. It's amazing. It's great that Ice Cube put his feelings aside for Trump in lieu of the Black community, to help the Black community, and even go talk to the man or anybody in his administration to try to help out his own folks. But it's also amazing to me how people are trying to demonize him for doing that. Oh, okay, the man obviously doesn't like Trump, but he's going to take every opportunity to help out African Americans, to help out Black people. And people like T.I., people like Snoop, and so many others are dogging him out for it. And it blows my mind, because Trump gave that same olive branch to each and every one of you, but you won't take it because you're going to be a sellout, or you're going to be this or that. You're not going to be for the culture. You're not going to be for the community, even though Trump is in the White House and he is the one that has the power to help out the community. And he's giving his ear, and he's saying, I'm listening to you, please say something. Yet all you want to do is just demonize each other, when somebody is actually stepping up and going to the man and giving grievances on behalf of Black people. It's all just.
I
think,
agree.
I'm still speechless. I'm
go
speechless.
ahead, Dayla. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that it was to me reading when I read what you had read, what his response or whatever, saying that he would approach both parties or whatever, and the Trump administration on the one that got back to him. It was, to me, that should be just like a red light, or like a wake up call to the black community, and we should ask questions, right? Like, why is that? And okay, the answer could be, oh, Trump needs the vote, so that's why he went that way. But the real question, or the real answer, is that we've been voting for the Democrats for 60 years. This plan or contract with the Black community shouldn't be something that I'm just seeing in my lifetime. Like, as Gen Z, like, we shouldn't just be seeing this now. So I'm, kind of confused as to why people are not, like, I guess, waking up, why red flags aren't going, why, I guess the real heat should be definitely on Biden and Harris, if this is who the Black community wants, as, this is who we're choosing, where we're against Trump, we're with her and with them just because we're against him and all this stuff. So we should be asking them, why didn't you call back Ice Cube? And, why did you say wait till after the election? What could be more important than getting the Black vote by actually helping Black community rise? What can be more important than that? Yeah. But
yeah, he tweeted out again. I'll read this word for word. A day ago, said there's a lot of energy being spent on telling me to stay in my lane. There's zero energy spent on telling Biden and Harris that they need to do way more for Black people to shore up the vote. SMH.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to point.
People are really spending more of their time trying to talk him down and shut him up, rather than talking to the people up top saying, "You guys got to help us out." They be
focused, and that's what it always is.
Wrong places. The energy is way misplaced.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame. They could do so much with that energy that they got.
That's why I said
that energy could be some policy energy, could be some uplifting energy, but no, it's just cancel energy.
Mm-hmm.
The own people. That's all it is.
That's why nothing ever gets better. Isn't the definition of insanity doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results? So if we're voting for the Democrats over and over, and we're getting the same results, we're literally insane. And I was just watching this speech, a lecture by a ex-liberal. I mean, I guess he still considers himself a liberal. He was a Harvard professor. I'm going to probably bring it up next weekend when I talk more about like Afro stuff, because the whole thing going on in Nigeria with SARS. So I'm bringing that up later, but he's talking about psychology, right? The psychosis of the Black community. There's really something psychologically, not wrong, but there's a psychological problem in our community. And yes, maybe you can pinpoint to slavery. Maybe we can dive into that next week, but there is definitely a psychological problem. And like I said, we're insane if we're going to continue to vote for Democrats and they're not, giving us any results.
And the biggest thing is people just question everything. Ask why. Ask why. Just ask why. Mm-hmm. I voted this way the last 5 elections. Nothing's changed. Why? Why is it not changed? Why do I keep voting the same way, expecting it to change? And why do I keep and why do I just keep doing it and thinking that things are going to be different? Why? Just ask why, seriously. And then you're going to start having to answer those questions, I hope. And that you're going to find out that you need a different solution out there. Eventually, people are going to need to find a new solution. I think they're going to have to find
100% agree.
As I said before, I'm just speechless at how people amaze me. And the way this has been, and the way this is played out, it just amazes me. It just shows how hypocritical people are, how terrible people are, and how we really need to start changing up how we view role models. It's not just within the Black community, but within society. One person is trying to actually help the community by going to the people that's in power, that wants to listen to us. And then the other people are trying to tell them, no, you need to stop, and then wait for Biden to come in, which is crazy. We need help now. We don't need help if Biden gets elected and he gets in and he gets the Green New Deal passed and then he'll listen to us. No, we need to be listened to now. That's what Trump is doing now. He's listening to us.
And the whole thing is, he didn't have to go ahead and try to make a plan for any sort of community.
No.
He went ahead and did it anyway. He didn't have to do that. Some people be mad entitled about stuff. I'll tell you what, people be mad entitled about stuff. Act like, where's our plan? Where's this and that? Then you put it out there, and then they got to go say, nah, that ain't good enough. Nah, nah.
Or they'll say like, well, you know why he's doing it, to get votes. But of course, that's what everybody is trying to do. Everybody is trying to get your vote. That is the point of an election, trying to get your vote, trying to put some belief in you about them that they can deliver for you and for your family and for your best interests. That's what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to deliver for our best interests. But no, he's just trying to get our vote. He's just trying to get our vote.
Yeah.
What?
We're going to segue into this because you're already on the road, man. We're going into policy. What's the difference between pandering and policy, Omar? What's that difference? Because they say, oh, he just pandering for the vote.
You know what? I had something different for you in policy, but it's really interesting. I wanted to talk about the court packing situation. Biden has been saying that the American people does not deserve my position on this. And Democrats have been threatening to pack the Supreme Court with up to 27 judges is what I'm hearing. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. I've seen that too, even watching his town hall again, where he refused to answer the question. And his reasoning, I guess, was that he was like, you know what they're trying to do, man? Trying to get me to answer this and take away your deflection. You're taking away from other stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So in my personal opinion, and I mean, basically what he's telling the American people with some other stuff, is that, he's going to do it, in my opinion, right? There's obviously, like, if basically what we're seeing, in my opinion, is if ACB gets confirmed, which I think she will, and he gets elected, he will pack the court simply because they want the votes on their side. There's nothing, it's nothing in the Constitution that will disallow it. So, he's just playing it cool. He's playing it cool. And if he's in office, for sure. I don't know why we're even still asking that question now, if he's going to pack the court. We already know the answer. So.
This is literally like, what was it? Goodness gracious. It was like an episode of The Office, and they're doing interviews. Oh, I got this great plan. Okay, what's the plan? Oh, I can't give that to you. That's my plan. You got to hire me first so you can see my great plan.
Right.
We got to hire you before we see what you got for us? Like, what the? You'll see it after.
Reminds me of Nancy.
Oh, Nancy.
Reminds me of Nancy Pelosi when she passed Obamacare.
Oh, yeah. You got to pass the bill to see what's in it. Oh, my goodness. Crazy.
Mm-mm.
You got to pass
and it's sad that people are going to fall for that because they don't even care about his policy, right? They just want to vote big orange bad guy out, right? So they don't care. They don't care what his policies are. I don't care if he's going to pack the court. If anything, they're happy that he'll pack the court, right? I mean, we're going to be the ones losing something, right? In the end, honestly, in the end, the whole America is going to lose, right? Because if we get a Republican president, they feel like they can pack the court. They're going to try to, go back and forth. It's a lose-lose in any case, in my opinion.
The courts aren't meant to be a political position. They're just meant to interpret the Constitution as it was written. And they're going to pack it, not just, the whole thing isn't just about packing judges. Okay, no. They're going to pack activist judges. That's the problem. It's not just judges, activist judges that want to legislate, not people that want to interpret the Constitution. They want to legislate their agendas. And that's a problem because we're just here the Constitution is going to go down the toilet. The precedent goes down the toilet. All this stuff, there's certain things that would change if that were to happen. I am actually scared to think of that. If they really pack the course and just start, you know what? The Second Amendment, we'll just we'll edit that. We're going to edit this one here and there and watch your freedom slowly get eradicated. Watch those freedoms disappear. People really.
Right. It brings up a lot of concern with me as well. It is something to watch for, and I'm going to be watching with you all, especially if Biden wins. Pray to God he does not, in the name of Jesus. But another question I have for y'all, this is because my favorite classes were political theory classes, so I'm going to throw this in for you all. Okay, I'm going to throw the words nepotism and oligarchy to you all. Nepotism being that you put up your friends or you put your family members in positions of power. Oligarchy meaning you keep the power within family. So, what do you feel about? Do you feel that if we are talking about Hunter Biden's situation, we should also be talking about Ivanka Trump. Not what Hunter Biden has done, but that the fact that he got a position in the administration. Should Ivanka Trump have had or Jared Kushner, for that matter, have had a position in the administration, and going also with the oligarchy part, should presidential kids even be able to run for office? Because it would look like oligarchy.
If I just had this. I can't remember 100%, but I remember I went through a long time ago and looked at the salaries of the Trump administration. For what reason, I don't know, but I can't remember if I actually saw a number near Ivanka Trump's name. So that brings up the question: does she get paid for working like her position? Is it a paid position? Because I don't.
From what I believe and from what I researched, she and her husband are doing this for free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah. it is an official position in the White House. And a lot of people have been coming to me saying Ivanka Trump shouldn't have had a position in the White House. I said, well, Hunter Biden shouldn't have had a position. I said, if we're going to be fair about it, then no president should be hiring their children or their aunts or uncles or anybody in their family, their cousins within their administration. If that's true, so in my head, if we're going to rail on Hunter Biden just being there, not just for what he did or anything like that, which was horrible. He's done horrible acts when he was with his father in the White House. But if we're going to rail on Hunter Biden, should Ivanka Trump even have a position? I just think it's a fair question.
I mean, I understand that that being a fair question, but I think personally that it's also different circumstances because, like I stated, Ivanka Trump, and I don't know about Jared Kushner 100%, but I know when I've seen Ivanka's name, she doesn't take any money, like taxpayer money, especially for doing the job that she does. So honestly, in that sense, bare definition, she is a public servant. Like, she literally makes no money for doing what she's doing. It's not, I don't think that there is any personal gain there. In Hunter Biden's case, where he's overseas doing business dealings, right? And the notion is that he's doing that took place to gain access to Joe Biden. Whether that's the case or not, you still are getting a outrageous amount of money overseas business dealing while your parent is in the White House. Yes, it has nothing to do. I don't think that the position actually had anything to do within the administration. But if we're going to say that, then I feel like there should at least be a cap on the money that you're allowed to receive as a child or anything while your parent is in a position like that, because it does get a little, quid pro quo, kind of sketchy, money laundering.
Ever. How do you eliminate those dealings from happening? It doesn't matter about the salary, man. They make deals. That money shows up out of nowhere. So that's the whole thing. Is you got to look at Ivanka's net worth after this presidency ends, and then look at other people's net worths after their presidency ends and where it's going to go. The Obamas, they get out their net worth through the freaking roof, and it's not just book deals. Okay, don't just tell me it's book deals. Nonsense. That net worth is through the roof. So far from president's net worth, everything, it looked like it's been going down each year that he's been in there. Public servants, the career ones at least, they get mad rich based off a six-figure salary each year. They're in the tens of millions. They're making $100K this much a year. So something ain't adding up to me, So something's all right. And we can apply it to the president's kids and what public servant jobs that they're doing, but it's politics worldwide. what is going on? That's just me.
Very interesting. Yeah, I got one more question for you, just one more. During the town halls, which both Trump's town hall and Biden's town hall happened at the same time, we couldn't get a debate together, but we got two separate town halls. I don't get that, but that's not my question. My question refers to, I think he was young. A young black man asked Biden, "Why should black people vote for you when you're spewing out you ain't black to black people that are thinking about not voting for you?" And Biden was talking about what black people need to do, talking about how black people need to gain wealth and start businesses. I started to think, okay, he must be stealing this from Trump because Trump is trying to actually give opportunity for people to gain wealth and start new businesses. But what do you think of Biden's response to that? Um, and do you think he was blindsided by the question? Because it looked to me, even in his facial expression, he was blindsided. He wasn't ready for it.
Well, personally, I thought it was a little funny. And even I don't watch Saturday Night Live. You guys know this, I think. But Saturday Night Live made a skit out of that, I guess, a little bit. And it was a little funny because he did kind of go off on a tangent a little bit, you know, and I think he was a blindsided, right, by that. And a little bit of that is because maybe because of the media bias that he always gets softballs, right? So maybe he was expecting a softball. And when someone like that, you know, he looked angry. I think the consensus online was that black kid was a little angry up there. So with that, all that passion, anger, and he, you know, confronting Biden on the "you ain't black," Biden was very caught off guard with that, and I think his response still was just, you know, in circle. I can't remember 100% what he said. I wish we would have seen the clip right now, but I did watch the town hall, and I just remember it's like, yeah, he's talking in circles anyway. He barely answering the kid's question. The moderator is like, "Does that answer your question?" The black kid is like,
I think it does. I mean, it's your opinion. That's what I'm asking for, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't ask me. My opinion is that he talks in circles once again, and that's why. Okay, I don't think he answered his question right. His question was, why should black people vote for you, and why aren't we not, or why aren't they black if they don't vote for you? And didn't really answer. He gave a story. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I think he talked about a story again. He always gives his personal what is it? I can't think of the top, but he gives a personal remark and then kind of uses that to answer the question. That is definitely a what is it? When someone preps you for something. How when you write something, when you write a paper MLA format, right? You're supposed to maybe description is really good. Start off with a story, kind of go into it. He always does that when answering questions. It's kind of inhumane a little bit.
Career politician type answers. Yeah, I didn't think he answered it terribly. I mean, I think he pivoted on it pretty decent, and he just started talking in circles, spinning it. You know, that's what politicians are good at. I think he handled it a lot better. When I first heard the question get asked, I thought he was really going to get him, but he didn't get him as good as I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't a gotcha.
You know, it wasn't. I didn't even get him like I thought he would, but it's not like he never addressed why the whole "you ain't black." He's never just going to be like, "Yeah, I should have done." You know, he's just going to keep going with whatever. You guys should accumulate wealth. There's that. Yeah, you should accumulate wealth. That's why I'm gonna lock you in jail on 3 strikes in '94. Come on, man. People can have this guy hemmed up for this already, but they're not. So I didn't think he did terrible in it, but as expected.
I think he fared okay with the question, but honestly, I did not hear why am I the guy to deliver for you, a black man, and why in the world would I even make that type of statement regarding black people when, for one, I'm not black, and for two, it is really insensitive when my party or myself, I'm supposed to be the non-racist candidate, or I'm supposed to be in the party that has been helping black and brown people for 60 odd years. For him to have that way of thinking, but not explain himself on that type of platform was really disheartening. It was really, I'm going to say it was really offensive as well. I was very offended when Biden first made those "you're not black" comments, and I'm still offended now. He has not come on television and apologized for it. And even then, that wasn't even an apology. He had a chance to apologize and did not.
Ain't gonna happen.
Right.
Not for sale. Not for sale.
Not for sale. Ain't gonna happen, sir. Yeah. Okay. Into the next segment here. One of my favorite things: woke sports. So this week in sports, numbers have come out. LA Lakers, win the NBA championship. LeBron James gets his 4th ring. Hey, congratulations. Let's break down the numbers though. So that game 6, they won the title. Only 5.6 million people watched, according to the Nielsen media research. So that's less than a third of the people that watched the game 6 last year between the Raptors and the Warriors. Just a third. Okay, in 98, excuse me, when Jordan won the title in game 6 on Sunday night, there were 36 million people watching Last Dance. It's crazy. And a lot of things can be attributed to it. Going back to, I talk about it week to week, people are going to get, frustrated. That's all he talks about. But sure, you got to compete with football. You got to compete with, other sports. It's in the fall time. You don't expect this to be a time for an NBA championship. It's it's not ideal. But there's really nothing else to do but watch sports. And the fact that people still are just not watching, you got to ask these questions.
Well,
was it the bubble, or was it just BLM overdoing it on social justice the whole time? I think it was both, but I think a lot of people just don't like it. It's just really people just don't like it, just crapping on America. People really just don't enjoy that. Yeah, I don't know how people can say, it's not what it was. That's what people interpret it to be. And it's not about what it really is. That doesn't matter when it comes to the free market. If people interpret it to be something, they're going to respond accordingly. And they're not going to watch. They're not going to pay money. And you're going to lose money. That's how it goes. And that's all I've seen happening. He wins it. I want my respect. I want this or that. And man, whatever, man. Win your 4th ring. No ratings. Ain't nobody watching it. Cool. Win your 4th ring.
Yeah, I think it does like what you were saying at the end takes away from it a little bit when you don't have all the viewers and the fans really tuning in and cheering you on. Okay, you won your 4th ring. Cool for you. No one really knows about it. It's really not as great as those other, big names like Kobe or MJ when, what you're promoting is hurting your career, on the face value side. That's what I think about it.
Honestly, didn't a week or so ago, maybe it was a few more weeks than that. Adam Silver, the commissioner, said they were going to take down the BLM stuff and take it out of the NBA element. So honestly, I thought viewership would have went up. People are still upset. Now, yes, it is a very odd time to have an NBA championship. I get that. That does contribute somewhat. But honestly, people are still upset that nobody wants to go out there and play ball. You're out there. Yes, you have a voice. Yes, you're an American citizen, so you're entitled to your own opinion about X, Y, and Z. You're entitled to your own opinion. I don't care about that. But when you're playing ball, aren't you just supposed to play ball? I think that's what people are really harboring at right now, even with NFL games, or even with baseball games. People, that's a resonating message. Just play ball. We're getting so much in media, in everyday life about BLM or about racism or about even crazy stuff, even about COVID. There's so much thrown at us. We want an escape from everyday life. That's what sports is for us. And when we're not getting that escape, when we're constantly reminded of it, people don't want to watch that. People want escape from their problems. You know, it's not that we're not trying to focus on it or trying to heal or trying to do better or even trying to have a conversation about X, Y, and Z. That's not what I'm saying we're not trying to do. What I'm saying is we want an escape from everyday life. That's what sports gives us. And now that we're not getting it, they're still going to receive backlash from it no matter what the NBA does. So NBA, get ready. NFL, get ready for it later on this season. If you haven't already noticed, you're really going to notice it in the middle of the season. If this stuff continues, I mean, you know.
It's really, it's going to go down the toilet. They got to change it up. If you guys want to watch something patriotic and something awesome, watch the UFC. That's all. About that is, man. Watch them fight. Those guys don't kneel for nothing. They fight. They handle business. It's the best thing to do. Seriously, watch the fights. Got a question here from Mel Chandler. Says, what do you guys think about the media, Twitter, and Facebook limiting the Biden corruption story from New York Post? Also, Twitter locking White House lady's Twitter account, Kayleigh McEnany.
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight activism through social media. They can just ban and destroy whatever they don't like, regardless if it's true or not. They let that Atlantic story go through with apparently the president calling dead service members, losers. Those anonymous sources these are anonymous sources, respectable sources. There's no report, there's no sourcing, there was no way to prove anything, and they let those stories stay up. Those stories never got taken down. A bombshell story drops with evidence of Hunter Biden doing very bad things, a lot of places, very corrupt. It's all proven out. It's all out there for you to see, and that's what they go ahead and lock people out of accounts for. It's disgusting. I think it's absolutely filthy. And if anything, you're going to leave it up for the people to decide if that's a story or not, but they're going out of their way to make sure people don't see it. It really doesn't help their case.
It's censorship of the truth. It's really, really terrible how the media and how Facebook and how Twitter, even Instagram, all of these social media websites and platforms are really trying to not trying to bring light to this story. If you're all about truth, if you're all about, you know how many posts I make, and then I get a little notification from Facebook saying, "Hey, you're not really spreading truth," you know, and this has been fact checked. You know, okay, well, what about Biden corruption? That's true. We have proof of that. We have FBI and CIA proof of that. Why aren't you allowing us to tell the truth? You know, what these social media platforms are doing, that and the push for everybody to get out there and vote. What I'm not saying everybody shouldn't get out there and vote. Go out there and vote. Please do your civic duty. But every social media platform is pushing this to the degree that I think they really went in the back room and say, "Hey, we got to get Trump out of office. What can we do to get this man out of office?" You know. Oh, also shout out to Mel Chandler. He's an old friend from Macomb. Thank you for watching, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Love to see the support. I mean, it's straight activism. They've been doing this for so long, and they got people on video on the algorithms, and the Facebook text software engineers that literally said, "The Trump presidency can't happen again. We won't let it." You got social media people working on these companies saying that they're not going to let another Trump presidency happen. Come on. Sheesh, what are we on now?
Yes. Craziness, total confusion. That's the world we live in.
Hey. Boom. Point culture. What you got for us, Dayla?
Hi, guys. Okay, no. All right, so we're going to start out with that Ice Cube video. Can you pull up that for me, please?
Let me go ahead and do this for you. Hold up. Give me a...
Yeah, we're going to start here because we already kind of talked about this in Free Talk, so shouldn't spend too much time on this, but I did want the viewers to actually see this video to see what I'm talking about here. Funny to me, I don't watch Roland Martin. My mom loves it.
Watch it, Roland Martin.
But he's a hilarious guy. He's a funny character to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, clowns are funny, aren't they?
They're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Clowns are funny. Clowns are funny. Yeah.
Here we go.
Pull this up for you here.
greatly overstated your involvement for the purpose of them being able to say, we have attached ourselves to Ice Cube? Did you believe that you were used politically for their purposes as opposed to really what happened?
Look, I knew whoever I engaged with would use that politically. I don't care about that part. The part I care about is getting something done. Look, my plan is called the Contract with Black America. So all of them lacking when it comes to that. So that's what I'm pushing. So anybody who's going to implement those plans into their plan, then I'm going to take a look at it.
So firstly, visually, let's just talk about his shirt. Vote like your ancestors, ? That was like, for me, my big old question mark was in my face with that one, because it's like, if I was to vote like my ancestors, wouldn't I vote for the Republican Party because they voted Republican during abolishment? So it's just like, okay, so what are you talking about, vote like my ancestors? What does that mean? What is that supposed to mean? Anyway, secondly,
Johnson policies.
Ignorant. My goodness.
Right, that one went beyond me. Secondly, I thought it was literally, he wasn't fooling anyone with his like loaded question, right? I think that we see this all the time where people like asking, they're kind of making you answer the question kind of one way. So they formulate the question where it's like, okay, we want you to say this, we're leading you this way. So yeah, let's answer the question like that. And I love what Ice Cube did. He said, he basically, backed himself out the corner. You're not going to do this to me, Roland Martin. No. Like, he checked him basically, and nicely checked him, and was like, any party I would have worked with would have used it as a political strategy or like for political gain. That's just what it is. That's the game of politics. You're not going to come here and just tell me, oh, Trump is using me. No, Trump is not using me. Basically, I'm working with him to get something done. And then the second clip he talked about, this is what I guess something I want to bring up to you guys, what you guys think. He said that his plan, or the plan that he entitles in his head, or he has created, is solely for the Black community, right? He doesn't want to hear anything about immigrants like from African countries or Black countries or anything like that, Hispanics, strictly ADOS. And he said that, like, strictly ADOS, that's what his plan, he wants his plan to be about and for. And what do you guys think about that? Like, this plan just for the Black community. I guess I feel like it will be a capital plan, because like he said, he said that he wants to emphasize on like entrepreneurship and building businesses and stuff like that. So what do you guys feel about that? It's not reparations.
ADOS. So ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. Did I get that right? ADOS. Is that what that means, right? Mm-hmm. American Descendants of Slaves. Okay. American Descendants of Slaves. So yeah, he's talking about Black Americans, people that have been here generations and generations and generations since, predating slavery, Civil War, etc., like 17th to 18th century, that type. So I think it's a good plan. I'm gonna act like I think it's a good idea from Ice Cube. It's not bad. It's about time somebody actually came up with some actual policy rather than just complaining. Solutions. All right. You got a solution. You don't have to agree with it, but I will respect that you came up with some sort of plan, some sort of idea instead of just complaining. All right. I got different issues with Ice Cube. I'm not going to go into the anti-Semitism and everything else, what his problems are, but I'll say, hey, man, he went out there, he put it out there. He didn't let Roland back him in the corner. He said, look, I'm here for the Contract with Black America. I ain't here for this, that, and that's the name of the game. This is what I do. Just like how people try to spin questions and make you say something just based off a loaded question. Like, Strategy like, do you still beat your wife? Like, how are you going to answer that? You just don't put back somebody in a corner with a question like that.
Exactly.
I think it, for the community. I mean, and that's one thing too, is that American Black people and Africans, like actual African American, as in people immigrated here from Africa recently, are not the same. We're not. The culture is different. The trials, tribulations, and struggle is different.
Yeah.
And they do better than us statistically, financially, and educational wise. Statistically, they do better than ADOS, I guess that you would say. So
they do.
Another question.
Honestly, I feel it's like, okay, we all know Ice Cube doesn't like Trump. Okay, it doesn't matter. Everybody knows that. But at the same time, he doesn't. He says that's not the focal point. The focal point is not me trying to join up with Trump or me trying to join up with Biden. I'm just trying to help folks out, and we've got to start helping people out. And if it means me working with Trump, he's in the White House. He's the one that has the power right now. That's what I'm going to do.
True. Quick shout out to Matt from Virginia and Blexit.
I remember, I saw him the other weekend, man. It was awesome. That was a great time.
So to my next point, because I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that, because we already talked about that earlier, but, big props to him. I kind of hesitated on going into that story. When a big story comes out and everyone's jumping on it, I always hesitate to get on it because so many people just with so many different ideas. So I did actually just watch these videos today, and I was super proud of Ice Cube. He stood his ground. He didn't basically, I'm not with y'all. I'm not with them. I'm here, to get my plan across, and that's it. Secondly, I did want to talk about a rapper who goes by the name of Asian Asian Doll. She's not really that famous. I can't really tell you a song that she has, but she is signed under Gucci Mane, which gives her a little bit of clout and everything. And earlier this week, she was hounded by Black Twitter, especially on the Shade Room, where she put out this tweet. I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can see. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay, so she put out this tweet earlier in the week where it says, "I'd rather Trump be president than that other dude for sure." And this was screenshotted and put out by the Shade Room, because as you can see, this tweet, it was deleted maybe 30 minutes to an hour after she had put it out, because, like I said, she was getting so much hate from Black Twitter. She went and deleted it. She didn't want to get canceled or anything. So after that tweet and deleting it, she took to Instagram Live and just was kind of a little bit angry and said, how you guys getting on me? All of this promotion we were kind of talking about earlier, all these social media platforms, all these big companies, DoorDash, Uber, just big name companies talking about get out and vote, get out and vote. So she's saying, how you guys getting on me? Everyone's talking about getting out and vote. I'm just, saying, my opinion on who I think I would rather as president, and you guys are getting out on me when I thought the whole census or the whole point of this whole thing was to vote. So she was very confused or whatever. And what she said to kind of cover her butt was that it's two white guys. Look, as a Black woman or whatever, as the Black community, it's two white guys up there. At the end of the day, a white guy is going to be in office. So at least I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils, kind of what she was saying at the end of the day. And it kind of goes back. I brought up the story to talk about how, bias the media and just, all these corporations and all these organizations that are telling us and just down our throat 24/7 this past month to vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. But a lot of these, I'm going to say a lot of these ads and promotions I've been seeing have been a bias. It seems like, they're saying, oh, get out and vote, but they're telling you without saying, vote for Biden, vote for Biden. They're not saying, they're telling you to vote for Biden. It's really disgusting. And you can see that. And this tweet and her being blasted by Black Twitter proves this, right? It proves this. That they don't want you to vote. They want you to vote for Biden. And if you don't vote for Biden, screw you. You ain't Black. You out of our community. Get out. You're canceled. All this. So it's pretty interesting to say.
They have to get out and vote until they find out who we voted for.
Right.
If they find out who we're going to vote for, they don't want us to vote anymore. After that, they can ask us.
Right. It's like, ooh, tear that ballot up. We don't want that.
Exactly. Every time they take it out and vote a million times. So here. Mel, another great question here. Thoughts on Diddy's latest comments about creating a political party? Well, you want to backtrack to what Diddy said about Trump.
The Black Party? Was it the Black Party or something like that?
It's called Our Black Party.
Okay.
It's part of that to get Trump out of office, and it's supposed to support and produce Black politicians. I mean, if we're all talking about the same Sean Diddy Combs, the same guy that ripped Mace off his label, didn't pay that man no money, and ripped off a lot of guys off the record label, just like all the corporate hacks out there in the music industry that's going to talk about empowering the black man when he ripped him off in his own label. We're going to talk about that Diddy. We're talking about what's going to be for the people. Now I thought we were talking about two different people, but I guess we're not. We're going to talk about that man. I think he's a clown, honestly. And he said it here, and I quote, "If Trump gets elected, I really do believe in my heart there'll be a race war." He said that on Charlemagne. I do believe that's a race war. So here's the thing: there doesn't have to be a race war if you don't do stupid stuff. Like literally, nobody's threatening a race war. Nobody wants to have one. Nobody's going out there. Nobody's saying go burn down buildings. Nobody's saying go loot and go do this. That. That's going to be on you. That's literally going to be on you if you go ahead and decide to do something stupid like that. Like it's going to be his fault that some people decide to do stupid things. You're going to blame it on him because people decide to be stupid and they're going to play. Those are going to be written and attribute it to him, not the fact that people are stupid and can't handle political discourse. Like that's.
I want to add because this thing with race gets thrown up all the time, and I forgot what I was watching earlier or last week, but we were just saying about Diddy talking about there's going to be a race war if Trump wins or whatever. They want to pin a race war. What it really would be a war against good and evil, maybe patriots and people who hate America, or socialists versus capitalists. I don't see a race war, right? Because personally, there's no I don't see it. I don't have a problem with race. Like I don't have a problem with white people. I don't feel like there's a need for a race war. Personally, I don't feel like there is a race war, which I feel like the premise or like what's bubbling is people who love America, who hate America. It's not about race at this point because what happens to like the Black Lives Matter, the protest with 100 white people and only like 5 black people. So it's not race because these crazy people, white liberals, are on that side. So I don't think it's a race war. Because I'm not on that side.
It's going to be Marxism, or that's going to be law and order anarchism. It might just be literally law and order anarchism and the Constitution and people that want to destroy it. And that's what really the Civil War boils down to.
Yeah, right.
That should not be a skin color issue. And if people make it out to be, that's a problem.
It's more of a social issue than a race issue, 100%, 100%. Because I don't see any race, like it's not the civil rights era. Like
no.
I'm confused.
No, I got people on campus telling me that we're more divided now than we were during segregation. How did that happen? That's one of the most ignorant things I ever heard on campus. My goodness. We're more divided. How? Well, now the 8-foot wall in the building that separated the black from the white people, all that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that goes over my head. Well, the last thing I want to talk about, right, because we're still in my segment a little bit, is, I don't know if you guys know, but Candace Owens took to Instagram Live tonight, a couple hours ago, where she discussed how she felt that the election is being rigged, more so in front of our eyes, right? And I totally agree with her. People, have these opinions on Candace Owens, whatever. But honestly, I love when she gives these like prediction rants or whatever, because she hasn't been wrong when it comes to about the cancel culture with the Brett Kavanaugh, with the feminists, with Black Lives Matter, with this. I honestly don't think she's gonna be wrong, and she hasn't been wrong. So I love these little rants that she does, and she brought up a word that is interesting to me because I don't think we talked about this earlier, but what we were supposed to bring it up is that Trump got questioned about QAnon in his town hall, which is interesting. But what brought that to my head and what brought, I guess is I'm bringing it up is because Candace Owens used the word satanic. And I really do believe, like I was having this conversation with someone earlier, and they were, asking me, the person doesn't vote. He's not going to vote or whatever. He was just asking me like, why do you, want to vote for Trump or whatever like that. And I know he wasn't into politics. I know whatever I was going to say policy wise was just going to go over his head. So I boiled it down to, it's a fight between good and evil. I truly believe the devil is the master of deceit. And personally, I never follow anything mainstream because the devil is the master of disguise, right? Like what we're seeing on mainstream media right now, like the bias and everything like that. Me personally, I will never follow it. I can't follow anything mainstream because, like I said, I think it's a psychology thing. It's the devil's the master of disguise. Like anything that seems too good to be true, too worldly, I'm gonna X that. Like I'm gonna dissociate myself from that personally. So that's what I told him, and that boiled down to my head. And when Candace Owens brought that word up, satanic, it just like it made me smile a little bit, because it's like when people don't talk about it a lot, but I truly do think there's a lot of satanic stuff that's going on right now. And I mean, we can just talk about with bringing the ushering of COVID and stuff like that, when we couldn't even go to church. A lot of churches are still shut down right now. I don't know, it just kind of goes into each other. And I know Omar is really like, you have pastors as a parent and everything. So, and you're also pretty religious and well versed on the Bible. So I want to know your opinion on this QAnon, satanic, good versus evil kind of thing.
There are a lot of satanic stuff out there. I mean, what does the Bible say? He's the prince and power of the air. If he's the prince and power of the air, then a lot of what we're going to see, a lot of influences are going to be satanic. I don't know much about QAnon. Apparently, from what I do know about it, they are part conspiracy theorists. Sometimes they've been the truth. I don't know much about them, but honestly, I try to stay away from it as much as possible. But going back to your comment on we're seeing satanic things happen, yeah, we're near the end, folks. We are, in my personal belief. And my personal belief lines up with the Bible. So biblically, we're getting closer to the end of times if we're not already there. And the more we see, I mean, we're seeing pedophilia embraced. We're seeing full-on transgenderism for children embraced. This is in
Joe
time.
Biden acknowledged it at the town hall about an 8-year-old who changed their gender. We're in 2020. This is becoming normal. On a mainstream candidate on that stage acknowledged it.
But right. The fact that before you even hit puberty and you really hit, and your regular hormones are supposed to hit, you're supposed to get a whole nother set because somebody put in your head that you are now what you're supposed to be. And by the way, I'm going to say this as an aside, but I truly believe this, and people can fight me if they want to on it. Okay, if you are saying you're transgender, you are definitely saying that God made a mistake with you, and my God makes no mistakes. So obviously, you don't. I can't hear anybody that says they're transgender, whether they're a kid or a 50-year-old man. If you say you're transgender, please don't say you believe in God, because you're just saying God makes a mistake. I just have to throw that one out there. Sorry, not sorry. But, you have a candidate out there saying this stuff. This is not normal. It's not supposed to be normal.
It's not of God. You know that it's right there. But 8 years old, my goodness, they don't know anything. They don't know how to do anything. They can barely make breakfast. They don't know how they want to be aborted. They're going to know
let a kid be a kid, right?
To mutilate themselves and change their life.
Right.
And to have something that their parents are pushing on them, it's child abuse. It's pure child abuse. 8 years old, my goodness. And talk about satanic, this and that. I don't even get much into that in politics. But that's evil. That's just flat out evil. You're gonna steal the livelihood and the childhood from those kids doing that. That's absolutely awful. And into the QAnon and Trump and the whole question. I'm not even gonna get into what I think about QAnon or any of that. But here's the thing: is they loaded the question saying that this is what QAnon was and called satanic this or that, and then said, okay, now denounce it. Now go denounce it. Like he's just like, bro, I don't know about them. One, he's like, how do I accept your word as true? Now I have to go denounce based on what you say. Like, I'm not gonna go say that when I don't know what you. They straight up feed this stuff to him and say you have to go accept what we tell you. That is nonsense. That's not journalism. These people are really out to get him there. A town hall was a straight moderated debate again, grilling him again. Like this guy can't catch a break anywhere. Anywhere.
I mean, I do agree. I thought it was really funny. And he was like, why would I listen to you? You're not really, you don't tell the truth, quite frankly. It was just, how do I say this? I didn't feel like he didn't know what QAnon was, right? Because it's like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who it is. Oh, by the way, I heard that they fight pedophilia. I do like that. And it's like, okay. If you weren't going to say you don't know who they were, you're going to plead the fifth. You should have just plead the fifth on it, just 100%. But I do like when you denounce it. I mean, yeah. He
didn't claim to be like the subject matter expert, but I'm sure he's heard plenty about the anti-pedophilia stuff that goes on there. So, I mean, that's fine. He can acknowledge that, but he's like, I don't know all about them. Like, in the intricacies of everything that they believe and whatever, you know.
Right. And she was like, "Do they believe that? What is it? The Democrats is a deep state satanic whatever." I was like, oh gosh, pretty funny stuff. I was actually shocked that they actually asked that question online on air. That they I guess is like kind of trying to put focus on it because, like I said, I watched the Saturday Night Live skit or whatever, the parody of the town halls, and they did the same thing. You know, they highlighted the QAnon question. So it's interesting to me that they're kind of, I guess, pinning QAnon on the president. Like, what does that do now? You know, now I think there's going to be thousands of people who didn't maybe know who QAnon is to look it up. What does that do?
I want to see the Google searches, like the numbers wise, because I'm sure that number of QAnon went through the roof that on Thursday night after.
I can imagine.
People started looking at what it is. You just like go condemn it, and I hope people actually went and just at least Google search and try to pull up something. I mean, you're going to pull up the far right conspiracy, white supremacy, blah blah blah, all this crazy stuff. But at least people are going to look into it somewhat instead of just accepting whatever she was saying on air. Goodness, I hope some people have that sort of decency at least. Clint Stoner. Patriotism has no race. Amen, brother. Absolutely.
That's right.
I agree.
There it is. Boom. Final remarks here, guys. I think this was fantastic. So much to talk about, man. It's been a long week. But, gosh, I mean, we're closer to the election than ever before. We got Ice Cube out here cutting deals, trying to make some policy happen. We got Sean Diddy Combs out here acting a fool, straight clowning. And, of course, you know, you got everybody else just trying to tear a man down for trying to make change. So, what else is new?
Oh, yeah. But I'm interested to see what this week has. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of new stuff this week. We have a debate, a projected debate. Hopefully it happens coming up on this Thursday, I believe. So we'll have some good stuff to talk about on Friday, the last presidential debate. So fingers crossed.
Honestly, I just I'm looking forward to this week, seeing what happens in politics. I went to a MAGA rally a couple of days ago, and one of our senators here in Georgia was there. He said this week is the week we're going to confirm Amy Coney Barrett to the United States Supreme Court. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what media has to say about it. Oh, also, I want to say this, and I hope Joy Reid gets this comment on this. Joy, I do not care if you think that Vernon Jones should not be invited to the cookout. Vernon Jones is an American. He's a patriot. Yes, he did crowd surf that Macon rally I was at. Yes, it was awesome. And guess what? I'm not inviting you to my cookout, Joy Reid, and ask my friends. I can cook.
It's done.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Got it. Mic drop right there, y'all. Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll be back again Friday. Again, these opinions are not for sale. The one and only. We're here. We'll see y'all later.
Woo.